This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not stopping a Mercer Island street brawl, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
This is an important message about coronavirus. With coronavirus still spreading, those who are most likely to get seriously ill must take extra precautions. You are at a higher risk for getting seriously ill if you are over 65 or if you have any serious underlying medical conditions, like heart disease, chronic lung disease, like asthma, diabetes, or if you're undergoing cancer treatment. If you're at a higher risk for getting seriously ill, it's essential you take extra care to protect yourself. Stay home, avoid close contact with others, wash your hands frequently with soap and water for 20 seconds, disinfect frequently touched objects like doorknobs and light switches. The choices you make are critical, and their impact is significant.
Mga kaibigan, ito po si Kuya Bert Kawili.
From Australia.
And I'm Norb Kawili, also known as Norbcam.
Kung gusto niyo po ang latest news and events from the Philippines at the local Filipino community, Phil-Am Radio po.
We play Filipino music and interview guests from all around the world.
And I'll keep you updated on the latest Seahawks and sports news.
Kaya always tune in Phil-Am Radio every Tuesday 1 to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
And in YouTube and Facebook. Salamat po.
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities, and this is what they had to
How
say.
does generational wealth play into my family's history, my children? What am I doing for my children to perhaps build them more wealth? I think it goes both ways, because for many immigrant families who are laboring constantly to live, your children are raised a certain way. Your children adopt certain values, which then will become their life and how they live it. When I see folks that perhaps have copious generational wealth, I see a whole different mindset, different ways of treating people. And I see it in my own children too. I feel like a lot of those values, in a lot of ways, begin to get lost, and you don't have to work so hard.
This campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenue Radio.world.
Hey y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell. Did you love that last show? I did get to talk to the host, and the fact that he's focused on mental wellness for men is such a beautiful thing. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank Rainier Avenue Radio for bringing quality programming. All the programming on Rainier Avenue Radio is for the people, by the people. Don't you love it? So I know I do. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to create a space for us to thrive, right? Some of the things we've talked about with this program, as you all know, it's being sponsored through the Better Together Empowerment Series and the Living Powerfully Experience. I have two hats that I wear. One of them is really as the Vice President of Corporate and Community Affairs for the National Black MBA Association. And we won a little grant, and the grant was called Racism is a Public Health Crisis. And so what I get to do, again, I'm not taking any of the money for the grant. I'm doing this for free in community. I am bringing the skills that I have related to how do we actually change who we are? How do we create what I would say is your best self? That's what the Living Powerfully Experience is about. It's about how do you become your best, your most successful, and your most powerful you yet, no matter what's happening around you. That means despite the systems that we all have to face. It's despite the negative things that are happening in the world. It's despite the crazy people that we may have in our lives, right? It's despite, it doesn't matter what's happening. You still get to control who you show up as. So this is Better Together and Living Powerfully. It's the Better Together empowerment series, and it's the Living Powerfully Experience. We've talked about this before, and I can tell you that what we're going to do today is I'm going to go really, really quickly. I say that with my hands. We're going to go really quickly through some content that will, and I can promise you this, it will change how you think about who you are and what you do. So I'm going to start really, really quickly. And I typically like to just share. Let me see what happens if I share my screen. I love it when this happens. So we get to talk about who we are as individuals. We get to decide how we show up. Ooh, I am sharing my screen. I love it. Okay. Yay. Okay, I love it. Yes, I love it. Okay, so this is what we call the Living Powerfully Experience. All right, we like to start with asking you to relax. I'm going to start with what I called a PQ break. It's a PQ moment, a positive intelligence moment. It's going to ask you to pause and just breathe deeply and slowly. And if we're saying, hey, today is going to be about showing you how you can live powerfully, then let's start with, what does living powerfully actually mean to you? What does it mean to you? My presentation went away. Okay, we'll try that again. So what does it mean to you? What it means to me is I get to show up and help individuals actually do what they were meant to do on this earth. It also means that we get to show up in a way that ensures the gifts that we have are actually being provided in the universe in a way that allows us to truly thrive. I think I'm back. Hey, y'all, this is Traci, Dr. Traci Harrell. Listen, I don't need a presentation to do my show, but I do need the internet. That's what happens when you have a live show. I almost drove in today, just FYI. But I actually was hit by a drunk driver, totaled my car, and it's some drama, some PTSD, and all kind of things that are happening around that. So what I get to do is decide how I show up. And next week, I'm going to try to get myself into the studio because T-Mobile home internet services is less than optimal, apparently. Anyway, we will continue. I'm going to see if I can share this presentation again. I don't know if it's going to work for me. I'm on my phone now because my home internet went down. But let's just see. I'll try it one more time and we'll see what happens. Okay. Let's see. I love it. Anyway, this is radio, so let me just keep talking. Y'all know what we're doing here, right? We're creating a space for people to get not only transformation in their life, but we are able to offer some scholarships. Now, sometimes people have said, well, wait a minute, people don't have any skin in the game. How are they going to really, decide that this is truly important? Well, I think when you know that you can truly change your life, everything changes with you. So let's see what's happening now. Okay, presentation is sharing. That's a good thing. That's good. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay, so what I'm going to do really quickly is just talk about this idea of living powerfully, what it means, and what does it mean to you? For me, it means I get to show up in my full glory. I get to show up offering gifts that I know will change people. So this is what we're doing. We're offering $1,000 full scholarship for people to experience positive intelligence, right? You get to experience live and recorded trainings. We call them PQ trainings or the positive intelligence trainings. You get lessons from best-selling authors. I'm a best-selling author, so you get lessons from me. But also there's an author of the book, right? Shirzad Shamim, who actually, is amazing. And he's a brown man, I will say. He's not a black man, but he's a brown man, which means he's experienced issues where there's a system that changes how we are perceived based on who we are. So, there is some deeper empathy that I think comes from his training, which is really what I like about this. You also get to experience transformational group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and you get access to this online app for a year. That's what you get as a part of this process. Again, we've talked about positive intelligence before. What I love most is that you get to increase your mental wellness, your performance improves, your effectiveness improves. If you're a business owner, your business is improved, right? And then this one here really talks about reducing your stress and increasing your happiness. Right now, during the holidays, people are often really stressed out. So if you're like, I'm too busy for this, I would say the opposite. You're too busy not to really tune into this show, because we're going to give you some nuggets. Like today, I'm going to do a real fast overview. I'm going to go into like who might need this the most and what are things you can do immediately to change who you are. And this is about strengthening your relationships with other people as well. Right? It's about collaborating and innovating more, trusting more, and really empowering yourself as an individual, teams, if you're a part of a team, as well as organizations. And I have deeply talked about my why. One of my big whys is being able to show organizations and individuals how they can create an inclusive culture where everyone can thrive. We have organizations that talk about this all the time, but this is really how you do it. We change as individuals, and that allows us to change systems. So that's really what this is all about. Love it. So I'm going to keep it moving quickly. We talked about the schedule. These are the people that are currently engaged in November. We're going to do this again in December, and then again in January. And the big launch is going to be February 2/24/24 for organizations that are part of WEAR, the Washington Employers for Racial Equity. So you might be asking yourself, so what exactly is going to be my time commitment to change my life? To change my life, what is it going to take? So we all watch a 1-hour video weekly. It's training by the author, Shazad Shamin, the author of this book, Positive Intelligence. We're asking you to do a weekly group meeting or a pod meeting, 30 to 60 minutes, and then daily, whether it's 2 minutes here, 10 seconds, we're asking you to do these PQ reps, these pauses, and really focusing on something intentional, whether it's a physical pause. I'm just going to breathe and focus on my breathing. I'm going to be a visual connection to something deeper than you have in the past. It's really your opportunity to thrive. So it's not a lot of time in the week, but it's the time that you get to truly invest in your mental fitness. And I love this so much because what this does is we talk about, there's a book called The 12-Week Year. And it says, finish more in less time. Get more done in 12 weeks than most people do in 12 months. And I know it sounds absurd. You might be like, really? Yeah, this book is bestseller as well. It's really about focus and being intentional. So that's what we're doing together. And these are the opportunities that are showing up in community where we're going to come once a month and it's an evergreen opportunity, right? We're going to do it in different ways. I'm not going to be $1,000 scholarship because unless we keep getting funding coming in, we're using the funds we have. Again, I'm not getting any of them. I'm bringing my services for free, but we do have to pay the Positive Intelligence team for the content. It is, copyrighted content, as well as you get access to this app, right? So all the videos that you watch and all this stuff, it's proven 1 million people have done it, and they have like 96% success rates on actually feeling like they can manage their emotions better, right? That they're able to team better, build better relationships, that they're more empathetic, all the things that we say we want. That's what this is. And so we've created a survey for people to complete. If you'd like to share who you are, it's bit.ly living_powerfully_survey3. It's a 5-minute survey. But I always talk about this because I think it's really important to talk about why we do this. It's not just a show. It is a show, right? But it's a show that says we are showing up. We, both the National Black MBA Association and my company, It's All Bigger Than Me Consulting, Black MBA won the grant that I wrote for to say, hey, we can do this program in community. And we're not doing it just for a short period of time. We're not doing it for a few people. We're saying we are doing it to continue MLK's dream. The dream of actually creating a space where everyone can thrive. No matter who you are, we want everyone to thrive. So that's what we're doing in partnership and collaboration with multiple organizations. But these 2 organizations here are the ones that are showing up for you in our full glory. And we did do a session on 1026. It's a great video online. If you go to seattleblackmba.org, you can check out the video that we did on 1026. It was a great 2-hour session, actually. We talked in detail about the what and the how and the why. So if you're looking for more insight, that's where you can go. It says register, but you're really just going to watch the session from 1026. And I think I've shared this a few times. And the reason I shared, I'm not going to show it today, but the reason I like to share it is because you remember that slap when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock and we were all like, was that a joke? Did it really happen? Well, the question is, have you been hijacked? Because that was clearly Will Smith getting hijacked, right? Hijacked by his emotions, hijacked by history, hijacked by the shenanigans that are going on in the relationship, hijacked by his parents, right? As a child, the things that, are in your mind and we've all felt hijacked. We're human beings. Of course we have. The question is, what are you going to do in those moments, right? What are you going to do when the tide is coming in? We can't stop the tide. We cannot stop the wind. You cannot stop shenanigans from happening in your life. You can't. But what you can do is you can decide that, you know what? I need a surfboard because the wind and the tides are coming. That's what positive intelligence is. It's that surfboard. It's those skills to surf when the tides come, when the craziness comes, when the things happen. You are going to be I look forward to shenanigans now. I look forward to crazy people because I'm like, oh, I wonder how I'm going to show up. Because I don't have to show up like I would have. I get to show up calmer, more connected because I now have new skills. That's what this is about for you as well. We talk about, are you in this place where you feel like you basically can't stand on your own 2 feet? In the middle of a storm, it's too much, right? Again, with positive intelligence, with this idea of the living powerfully experience, you're like, hey, I know it's raining. Bring it on. I want more. Like, I got this. I can handle this. It's okay. It's just a rain. It's just a storm. But I got this because I have new skills. I know how I can show up better, prepared. I know how I can show up and live powerfully. These are some of my favorite, my heroes, some of the people that I know, and sheroes who show up, who I love. I just love what they do, because when they do it, you know that they are living in and walking in their glory. These are people who are like, this is what I love to do. And I show up and I gift my skills in community. I love it. I love watching Serena. I love listening to Deepak. Of course, I love Oprah, right? These are my people. During the holidays, my favorite song is by Celine Dion. So these are people that show up in positive energy, but also they show up living powerfully. So again, we talked about IQ before. We said, IQ is really the measure of your ability to reason and to solve problems. There's tests that measure your IQ, right? There's also this concept of EQ, which is emotional intelligence, right? The concept of self-regulation, self-awareness, empathy, motivation. Like, how are you connecting with others? How are you empathizing with others? How are you showing up, right, in the world? So what I love about PQ is it's the best of both of those. It's skills and logic. It's actually things that you get to learn about your brain and how your brain works, and reasoning differently and showing up differently. But it's also about empathy. It's about connecting. It's that social ability to truly show up better than you ever imagined. So that's what PQ is all about. It's the positive intelligence. It's how much time is your brain sabotaging you versus serving you. And what I love is it's about these forks in the road, those events, those moments. We were just, the show before me was just talking about the moments, right? Those events, those times, right? When things happen and you get to decide, and we make it pretty easy. Right? It's not a, we call it factor analysis. So it's down to like the three things that you can do, right? And the first one is deciding what perspective you're going to choose to take in those moments. So is the perspective this is bad, whatever it is, or is your perspective that this is a gift? And if you're doing anything related to PQ or positive intelligence, you can imagine we've already decided that every situation is a gift or an opportunity. So when you come into that fork in the road, that's a perspective you have to show up with. It's a gift. So you pause, you breathe, rub your fingers together, squeeze your toes together, feel your butt in your seat, right? Shake your shoulders out, whatever you need to do, but you need to be in your body in the moment. You don't get to be outside of your head, right? Letting voices tell you that this is the worst thing that could have ever happened, and I should probably walk up on stage and slap somebody. No, that's not how this works. You get to decide, you know what? This is not how I would have liked for that to have gone down. However, I'm going to choose differently. I'm going to breathe, literally just taking 3 deep breaths. Inhale, pause at the top for a few seconds, and exhale. That's a PQ rep. That's a pause. Doing it 3 times. Feel your chest. Go in and out as you inhale and exhale. That's a pause. People are going to get on your last nerve. I'm Southern, so that's what we say in the ghetto. They're going to get on your last nerve. It's okay. When those things happen, no matter what it is, someone's going to cut you off in traffic, breathe it out. Feel you squeeze your hands and release, squeeze and release, squeeze your toes, breathe heavily, Make a sound. It's okay. Right? But that's what you do in the moment. So take that away. Again, this is about change. It's a gift. Something good's going to come out of it. I believe that. And then you pause and you allow yourself to cultivate what that gift might be, right? Left brain, right brain. I'm not going to go into this a lot, but as humans, we have that survival side of the brain. It's the side that sabotages you, that says everything is a problem. This is horrible. Run. Saber-toothed tigers, right? Like all the things. So when those survival saboteurs show up, you still can breathe and pause and decide, no, I'm not going to react. I'm going to pause and I'm going to choose differently. I'm going to choose to leverage the right side of my brain, but you got to activate it. It may not be normal, natural, if you're used to jumping off, doing things without pausing. So it's enough. It is enough to just pause and breathe 3 times, 10 seconds in total, right? Inhale and exhale. It's about 2.5, 3 seconds. If you do it slowly, pause at the top and breathe it out. And say, you know what? Say out loud to yourself, I'm gonna serve me today. I'm not gonna react and sabotage myself. I'm gonna serve myself. Simple. This too is gonna be a gift. And so all these saboteurs that show up, these are the voices in our heads: the avoider, the victim, the pleaser, the controller, the hyperachiever, the judge, right? These are all the voices that come in our heads that would stop us. And so we get to minimize these voices. They would stop us from doing what we know is going to be best for us, right? And so mental fitness, or PQ, or positive intelligence, is about you deciding. And we've had this conversation before. So I need for y'all to show up and say, I've done that, Traci. I've started to pause because I know that it's going to help me build my mental fitness. It's going to create a space where that anxiety, whenever you're feeling anything negative, acknowledge, I see you. I'm going to breathe it out. I'm gonna pause, and I'm gonna choose differently. So any feelings of negativity, frustration, unhappiness, any of that, work challenges, relationship challenges, life challenges, right? You get to decide. And most people don't. 80% of people score below the minimum, which would indicate that they have a high enough level of mental fitness that they can really reach their peak performance and their peak happiness. Meaning it's measured, it's measurable, right? These are all scientifically based. This is how you measure the PQ fitness, but there's also other ways to measure the saboteurs in your life. But it's really about measuring how likely are you to achieve your full potential? Leveraging the IQ and leveraging the EQ and leveraging those things, that's your potential. But it doesn't mean that's how you're going to actually show up, because your PQ score is like, how am I going to use those things that I know are best for me? Am I going to achieve the goals that I want? That's what this is saying. Your performance, your success, and your happiness, the achievement of those things, are not based on your potential to achieve them. It's really based on your ability to choose, to pause and choose. And we've never actually paused here at this page. I kind of just moved through and say, hey, there's a book, and a lot of people have done it. But I just wanted to pause to say it's so scientific in that you don't have to live the same life, right? You get to decide. Am I going to amplify my sage muscles, right? That right side of my brain? Am I going to minimize the negative, the saboteurs, the survival side of my brain? And so this is the first thing we've shared many, many times. It's you can go to positiveintelligence.com. Halfway down the page, it says know your saboteurs or discover your saboteurs. It's a 5-minute assessment. It's super fast, but it really is going to help you to see, oh, okay, I guess I do have those voices. Even if you're like, I don't have those voices. Yes, you do. Of course, if you're human, you do. It takes 5 minutes. We've created a bit.ly for you. It's know yours _living powerfully, know your saboteur. So really, or you could just go to positiveintelligence.com, and it's super simple. So I'm going to pause real quick and give you guys a chance to do this. So when you come back on the break, I want you to be ready, because we're going to talk about these creatures, these voices, and how you can stop them in the moment, what you can do in the moment. It's acknowledging them, seeing them, and it's also deciding differently. It's deciding that you are going to choose differently. More to come right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Rainier Avenue Radio.
Big delay.
Hey, Seattle, here's some storage tips to love food, stop waste. Onions make potatoes sprout faster. Keep onions away from potatoes. Ripe bananas give off a gas that makes the fruit around them ripen faster. Store bananas away from other fruits. 40% of food in the U.S. goes uneaten. Save money, save food, save the planet. Visit Seattle Public Utilities for more tips.
Women are not an homogenous group. We face discrimination differently depending on factors such as ethnicity, age, socioeconomic status, and more. Rainier Avenue Radio is proud to amplify women's voices.
They are the experts of their own lives, initiating conversations within their community about challenges they face, the solutions they're working on, and the opportunities they see.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 for Women's Voices on Air. We know our challenges. We are the experts of our lives.
We are master multitaskers, prioritizing our family, friends, and our faith above our own needs.
Our needs and voices are too often overlooked.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. for Women's Voices on Air.
We tell our stories in our own way.
This is Brenda Charles Edwards, host of Seniors Matter. Join me every week to get information on activities and issues that impact the lives of older adults and their families. That's Seniors Matter every week on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities, and this is what they had to say.
We see lots of people who've gotten rich quickly and gotten poor just as quickly and left nothing to their families and or the community. That's a big chunk of the piece that needs to change. We need to see people making their investment in their families and in themselves and in the community. We want to build all three of those elements. We want to establish long-lasting family and community wealth, not just people who've gotten rich and squandered it. Those who have wealth will be opposed to our breaking the status quo. So this will be a struggle. All those folks are used to how things have been for hundreds of years, and that's the piece that needs to change. And they need to be able to stand by.
This campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
Hey, y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell. And what I love most about this work is that we get to decide at any point in time what our life is going to look like. We get to decide if today is going to be the day where we change the status quo. I say, let's make today that day. Let's not continue along the path that we've been continuing down. The last thing I just shared with you is the opportunity for you to do a free assessment, and it is called a very, very, very simple saboteur assessment. That's what it's called. And it's called the saboteur assessment because you get to assess and identify the saboteurs, those voices in your head that we all have, right? You get to decide at this point in time, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to do some things differently. And so that is what we want for each of you. We want you to decide that it doesn't matter what I used to do, right? Only thing that matters right now is how I show up today. And so I am super excited to really just show up for you in my glory, right? In my full ability to, I think, share these slides. Okay, that's good. Yay. Awesome. So what we were talking about is the saboteur assessment, right? We said that these are the judge and the saboteurs that we all have in our minds. And mental fitness is how do you grow 3 core muscles that are going to allow you to thrive? This is how you do it, y'all. This isn't a mystery. I've said it before, but I want to break it down on what do you do differently, right? Mental fitness allows you to have peak performance, peace of mind, wellness, and healthy relationships. That's what this is about. So, you know, what I love most about this, I've said before, it's research-based. So it's all the things that we know work. It's positive psychology, it's performance science, it's neuroscience, and it's cognitive behavioral psychology. That's really what positive intelligence is about. So it's a synthesis of all of these learnings. So it's guaranteed to work if you work it. That's the beauty of this. Guaranteed to work if you work it. So it's over 1 million people have done it now. This is actually a little bit of an old slide. But what I love about it is they focus on the power of factor analysis, this root cause. It's radical simplification. If all colors are based on red, blue, and yellow, then what we're saying is to reach your full potential, to truly reach your full potential, all you have to do is three things as well. Again, radical simplification. All you have to do is intercept your saboteurs, those voices. Focus on your sage, the sage perspective, and your sage powers. Just be more sage. And then focus on your ability to produce what we call the self-command muscle. That too is a superpower. Again, when I first showed you the Will Smith video, or the Will Smith, slapping Chris Rock, he was hijacked by his saboteurs. How do we minimize those voices, but also amplify the 5 superpowers that we all have? That's everything. So if you're like wondering what is Traci talking about, again, it's about this transformation. It's about mastering and transforming who you are as an individual. And that caterpillar cannot go back to a butterfly. Once you transform, you can't go back. It's the same with this mental fitness. It's about information, but it's also about activation. It's about you doing something differently and doing it with consistency. And we say it takes 6 weeks, which is why we call it a 6-week foundations program, because it builds a foundation for everything else. Once you're a butterfly, you can go do all kind of wonderful things, right? But you got to go from caterpillar to butterfly. Make sense? And we talked about this sage. Guys, ladies, people, my people. This is what we do. All we need to do is really focus on the sage perspective. When those voices, when those saboteurs show up, you just got to remember that you have a choice. You have an alternative choice. And this is it, right? You get to decide differently. You get to amplify your positive emotions, your peace and calm. And all you do is choose differently. Guys, it's as simple as saying, I choose this. This page right here is magic. I choose to believe this sage perspective. I choose to believe that every outcome, every circumstance can be turned into a gift and an opportunity. I believe it with all of my heart and my soul. If you believe this, then guess what? Then every opportunity can be turned into a gift. That means you don't have to worry. You don't have to have anxiety, because whatever is happening can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. And then we show you how we amplify that process for you. So when you come to those forks in the road, you are automatically defaulting to, this is a gift. You literally get to smile and decide it is a gift. It is a gift. It is for you. Joy is yours for the taking. Okay, looks like my presentation dropped. I will bring it right back. So what I do love is our ability to thrive. It's 6:35. I'm going to pull this presentation up again, and we're going to get right back in it. So how many of you, if you had to really be honest with yourself, how many of you have had some situations over the Thanksgiving weekend where you're like, I probably could have done that differently. I probably could have shown up better. I probably didn't have to raise my voice. I probably didn't have to get upset. How many of you can honestly say that that's probably happened to you just over this last weekend? Because, it's a lot going on. If you're like me, you overextended yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you're anything like me, then you probably got a little active, right? Like I know I did. I participated in a community Thanksgiving and it was beautiful. It was absolutely lovely, but it was a lot. By Friday, my entire body was aching, and I was like, it was great. And every time something happened, I was so proud of myself. Like, it was shenanigans. It was a little bit of shenanigans, like almost throughout the whole day, but a little bit. But all I did was I just smiled. I was just like, you know what? This too is a gift. This too is a gift. Say it with me. This too is a gift. Like, whatever it is a gift. You get to decide that this too is a gift. You get to decide that it doesn't really matter what's happening, right? It doesn't matter who is saying what or how they're saying it. It's a gift, right? Like, that's money, right? Thank you. It's money. Thank you for recognizing. It's everything. If this was all that you got out of today's show, let me hear you say it 3 times. This too is a gift. It's a gift.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Hey y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell. That was me. That was a little that was me clicking the wrong button. So my bad. Whoops. So we were live show, right? So we were just talking about our ability to choose how we show up. And so the good news is we do get to decide. The bad news is we must decide. It doesn't happen automatically. You still have to choose. And Daniel, I do look forward to being with you in studio next time. I very much am looking forward to that. I am. I really am. Okay. Yay. So, okay, I got my slideshow going. I think we're good. Okay. So what's exciting is this is everything. It's kind of the pivotal. It starts here. So if you can believe that the sage perspective is true, that every circumstance, every situation, every little bit of shenanigans, everything that happens truly can be turned into a gift and an opportunity, then that means when this fork in the road happens, you're saying, hey, I expect something good to happen. And when you expect something good to happen, by definition, again, I can talk about a 50,000 scenarios of someone saying, yeah, but what if all of that, whatever you're going to say that has happened to you that wasn't good in the last 10 years, you could decide, you know what if I thought in the moment that this was a gift? What if I decided to focus my mind and my energy on identifying what might the gifts be? Not that it's the worst thing that could happen, because now I'm going to see only those things. But when you decide it's a gift, it's like, ooh, wow, okay, hold on, please. What gifts could happen? That's what those other 5 superpowers are, those sage superpowers. You get to explore and you get to think differently. So these gifts are, what might they be, right? We call it the 3 gifts technique. And these are at least 3, right? The KPIs, the gift of knowledge, I've learned something. Right? The gift of power, or the gift of a new perspective. I can now do something differently that I couldn't do before. That's your power. A new perspective. Oh my God, I see it differently now. So the next time this thing's happen, I'm going to see it from that other perspective, right? The gift of inspiration or information, this KPI, or inspiration, or any of those eyes, right? I got something new. This has inspired me to go do something different. We've talked about this. So this is how you change everything. It ain't complex, people. Next time we're going to go deeper, but I just wanted to come back here so we're clear. It's not complex. It's not complex at all. So the question is, which one is true? Is it true that this is bad and this is good? Something is a gift or something's bad? The answer is whichever you believe becomes true. That becomes your truth. So why not decide that it's a gift so it can be a gift? If you decide it's a problem, it's definitely a problem. But if you decide it's a gift, guess what? You're going to focus on your brain automatically. This is about neuroscience. Your brain is going to focus on what you tell it. So if you say this is a gift, I can't wait to see what the gift is, guess what? It's going to show you the gift. If you say this is the worst thing that's ever happened, guess what? It's going to show you the worst thing that's ever happened. Isn't that easy? So the fact that there are 10 saboteurs, and these are the voices in our head that we're going to acknowledge and identify. But the good news is there's also 5 sage powers. They're not even powers, they're superpowers. So we start out with that sage, identifying the saboteurs, because we just want you to recognize them, recognize that they exist. I see you. I'm not going there. So it's really the saboteurs exist. I got it. But I'm going to focus on my 5 sage superpowers. I'm going to explore. I'm going to innovate. I'm going to empathize, explore, innovate, navigate, and I'm going to activate. That's the 5 superpowers. We'll talk about them more in future weeks, but I just need to start with the foundation. So if y'all are clear on this, next week we're going to go deeper, 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 okay? So these are the 3 things. You're going to intercept those saboteurs. You're going to amplify your sage superpowers, and you're going to amplify your ability to truly amplify what we call self-command. Take the self-assessment if you haven't already. Again, it's positiveintelligence.com, and we're going to talk about this judge. We're going to talk about these saboteurs. You're going to get this free assessment. It's going to rank those saboteurs for you, and then you can click on explore and learn more about them and be like, okay, yeah, that's kind of me. Everything may not be you, but you're going to recognize most of this, and you're going to be able to say, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. It's really good. I promise you. It's free. Free. Did I mention free? You have everything you need. So once you identify your saboteurs, this is one of them. You'll get the characteristics, the thoughts. You'll even get a little bit of insight on like where it came from. The last thing at the very bottom of your list for each of these saboteurs is like, where did it come from as a child, the origin of them. So if you know that you have saboteurs and you have sage, that means these things are happening, right? You don't need to worry about the brain part. We'll talk about that another time. But when I talked about breathing, that prefrontal cortex is how you bring control back to your ability to decide and to activate with clarity and calm. You don't let your saboteurs tell you that something's crazy and you got to go act up. It's not true. It's not true, right? What is true is that you can be motivated through positive emotions. Don't let your negative emotions lead you. That's the PQ score. Like, how often are you being managed by your negative emotions versus your positive emotions? How often are you focused on empathy and curiosity and creativity and passion and purpose, right? That's what we are asking you to do. And these are choices, guys. It's just a choice. So when those negative things happen, you don't even have to know what they're called, by the way. Saboteur assessment is just insightful. But anytime you feel a negative emotion, hear me, people, hear me. This is the gold. Anytime you feel a negative emotion, fear, stress, anxiety, anything, insecurity, overwhelm, right? Anger, any of that stuff. Know that it's a saboteur. It doesn't matter which one. You don't have to worry about the names. Any negative emotions, that's when you pause. Put on the brakes. You got some crash sound. Put on the brakes. That's traffic. Not a crash. You're not going to crash. So you're going to put on the brakes, right? You're just going to put on the, you're going to say, nope, I see you, right? But I'm not going to go there. So you switch. That's the secret. You get to choose. It's that simple. I wish it was more complex. I wish I had something that was so complex. The how you do it is important. The conditioning your brain to do something different for 6 weeks so that this becomes automatic, that's the work. But the what you doing ain't complex, people. I wish it was. No, I don't. I'm glad it's simple. I'm super glad it's simple. You're minimizing the saboteurs. You're amplifying the sage. So you get more of what you want and less of what you don't want. How easy is that? Like, people, this isn't complex. So you might be able to generate success with your saboteurs leading the way, but you're not going to really be able to have your full happiness. When you lead with your sage, meaning when you decide that everything is a gift that can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. Not that it is a gift. We got problems. I'm not saying there are no problems. I'm saying whatever that problem is, it's possible that it could be turned into a gift or an opportunity, right? So then you can generate your highest success and sustained happiness because you've now decided positive intelligence. I've decided to use my brain to fuel my positive outcomes in life. Do you understand the positive intelligence part? Right? It's a score, it's a number, but really I'm using my intelligence. I'm using the power of my brain to allow me to choose differently, to allow my brain to do the work. Our subconscious leads 90% of what we do anyway. You know that, right? So we're just now saying, hey, we get to activate these sage superpowers, which have not been sprinkling in your ear probably as much as those other voices. So this is what the beauty of this is. So are negative emotions good? If you're saying get rid of it, as soon as you have them, flip. Are they good for you? They're as good for you as pain is, right? This concept of putting your hot hand on the stove. Thank God we have pain sensors. We're not saying pain isn't good. We're simply saying don't leave your hand on the hot stove. So when you have those negative emotions, when those things happen, which are going to happen every day, multiple times a day, decide, oops, I see you, but I'm going to choose that this, all you have to say to yourself is one thing. This too can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. It's scientific, but it's also biblical. Y'all remember the Bible? This too will work out for my good for those who believe. Are you with me? So it's scientific. It's saying if you believe it can be good, take your hand off the hot stove. Those negative emotions are only helpful for 1 second as a signal that some shenanigans is about to jump off and I'm choosing not to go there. Like a hard pivot. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to stay in a negative emotion because it stops your ability to see clearly, to respond with empathy, to do any of the good stuff you want. You can't be in a negative mode and a positive mode at the same time. You just got to choose. So again, when you feel any negative emotion, it's a saboteur. Pivot, move, shift. Decide I'm going to do 3 things. I'm going to intercept that saboteur. I'm going to amplify my sage, and I am going to demonstrate self-command in this moment. I'm going to breathe it out. I'm going to pause. I'm not going to allow myself to do the thing. It's 3 simple things. So again, the positive lives in the sage mind. So you get to decide everything is a gift. That's operating from the sage perspective. Just remember that one thing, y'all. Any bad thing that happens, decide that it is going to be a gift, and guess what? It's going to be a gift. It's that simple. Yes, it's that simple. I know it sounds insane, and you're like, really? I promise you that. Now, you might also be wondering, every outcome, everyone, Tracy, every. See how we bolded that? Every outcome, every circumstance can be turned into a gift and opportunity. The work is figuring out what is the gift. But the first step is just deciding that yes, I believe that. And I'm going to figure it out. I don't have to know exactly what the gift is right now. I'm just going to believe the sage perspective. So if you get nothing from today's show, decide right now. I'm out loud. But decide one thing. Every outcome or circumstance can be turned into a gift and an opportunity. That is it. That is the big key thing. And then we'll tell you how. We'll work through the process. But can you do this today? I just didn't want to get through the week and start going into some detail before I make sure people are crystal clear. Listen, this is the sage. This is my decision. Those decision points we were talking about, the 10-second PQ reps, just breathe it out. That's the pause. If something negative is going to happen, pause. I promise you 3 deep breaths, touching your fingers to the floor, squeezing your toes, do something physical that brings you right into this moment. Like it's good, everything. Phew. It turned into a gift or an opportunity. It can. It's yours for the taking. 10 seconds, 2 minutes. We say 15 minutes throughout a day. That's all we're saying. That's the work. If you were part of the 6-week program, I'd be saying, watch a video. I'm going to show you the video. We'll go do some of the video stuff next week. So you'll get some free content that would be for those people who are in the $1,000 program. Oh my God.
Ma.